I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch, it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. No second guess it, I let it set in. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. I smack my girl's ass, tell her pinch me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, just sometimes misinformed. Danny G, my guy Jimmer, and special guest today, Lucas Reginald Rising in the house.
Let's go.
How we doing, baby?
Good.
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 I'm good. He must have had a pretty good day yesterday. With I see the coconut water rolling right now.
It was rough.
It was rough.
I was not feeling great when I woke up. To be honest
But there was a reason to celebrate for you yesterday.
Rocky Top.
Rocky Top,
Alexa,
baby.
play Rocky Top.
Let's go. Such a great game, man.
Oh, absolutely.
Big fan. I know maybe it hurt you a little bit.
Yeah, I'm a Roll Tide guy. You know that.
Yeah.
So, but it was highly entertaining to watch. And sometimes you need to get bitch slapped back down to reality too. You know, and that's exactly what they got yesterday.
100%, man. Well, we're going to recap some of the college football games yesterday. We got to pick our NFL games, and we've got your news and notes for the day. So what's up, brother?
Yeah, we'll roll into that, and then we'll talk. God, there were some crazy games. We were talking about that just a second ago, but Jesus. The fishermen were caught cheating at the tournament. Were charged with attempted grand theft and other charges. So that DA was serious and stuck to it. Evidently, real quick one though. Evidently, like they're going back and looking at other ones too. Like the last one that they were that they won. I think it was like in Michigan or something like that over there, and they're looking at them for that too. So they're going down the line.
I had heard, I didn't know that much about it, but they were talking about it like these guys had been accused of it like multiple times, like over and over and over again, and then they finally just checked and then found it.
Yeah.
It's like, how many times have they pulled it off? I can't remember what the number was. Somebody said they made over $100,000 in fishing tournaments over the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I saw. Yeah, so the last tournament they were in, they were heavily thought of, suspected. Everyone kept going up and saying it. Evidently, they swung a little too high on this last one and had them eat way too much of that lead.
Just got a fucking cinder block in the
No kidding. If you want to do this long term, you don't go that crazy, right?
Yeah.
You're just a little heavier than what's expected in each of these bitches, you know?
Right.
You're still going to win. Damn. But yeah, I wonder how they can go back, right? They don't keep the fish.
No, they don't. So I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how they're going to be able to prove anything, but by sounds of it, they're still looking at each one, and maybe there's pictures or something that they can go by, or hold on, that looks like what he just said. Looks like there's a brick in the stomach of that goddamn fish right there.
Hopefully they took one to a taxidermist, and it's still you shake it and you just hear the shit rattling on the inside of it.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that makes people not fucking try that shit in the future, you know?
Right.
I'm all for it. If you're a professional fisherman, that's not even a real sport. That's more of a hobby. So if you want to cheat to win, do it. I don't
See, so actually, what's awesome about him in this seat right now is that Miles said the exact same thing.
Yeah, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
He's all for it. Fuck yeah.
Good for them.
The Warriors and Jordan Poole agree to a 4-year, $140 million extension. Andrew Wiggins also agrees to a 4-year, $109 million extension. My question to you, gentlemen, is: does Draymond punch Andrew Wiggins now too?
He should.
Just should.
I don't know. I might give Wiggins a much better chance than Poole in that fight.
Yeah, I think you're right.
You know, but I don't know. This is putting them in a tight spot. I don't know if Draymond's gonna be able to get paid there.
No, I think they're making it.
Doing
that on purpose, right?
Good. I'm not crazy.
But realistically, Draymond, if Draymond was on almost any other team in the league, he's not as big of a deal as he is.
Totally agree.
In Golden State.
Agreed. 1,000%. I think the system and what they need from what he brings to the table is what they kind of need. They need some of that little nastiness, little chippiness, right? Because they don't have
it. He's just a huge locker room guy, basically.
Yeah.
Not that he's not good at basketball. Don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of other like better big men out there.
Yeah.
That they could. He just got blessed and got drafted by those guys.
Right.
Yep.
Just kind of fell into, and now he has a podcast too. Fuck you, Draymond.
Yeah, no shit. Automatically a big follow too.
That
Piece
mouth.
of shit. Yeah.
Piece of shit.
In all seriousness, did they have to? Did they have to pay this? And what's the plan here? 4 years.
Yeah, I think so. You need more young blood, and those two fit the system really well. Especially, I think Wiggins is more important to them, especially what he brought in the playoffs last year.
Okay.
And it's funny though with Wiggins, like he's kind of like what you just said about Draymond. With other teams, he hadn't done nearly what he did with Golden State. Right, the system is just
They unlocked
player
something.
friendly. You know,
Did they unlock him a little bit though? Like his potential was always supposed to be there. He was number 1 pick. He was supposed to just sky's the limit, right?
yeah,
And then everyone else is ready to throw in the towel on this cat. Goes there and learns how to kind of dominate. Like, hey, you're a defensive wing too. You were supposed to be a good defensive player anyways, but then your offense was, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I don't know. They needed some fresh stuff in there. I don't know about Jordan Poole after you told me about him being
Arrogant as
just
fuck.
a cocksucker.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. You know, Wiggins said that his goal this year is to become Defensive Player of the Year. He was pissed because he didn't even get a vote last year. So he's like, this year I'm going to get it. And maybe they're looking at that like, well, that's usually a Draymond is that for us, right? Yeah. So that's another reason to kind of say, well, what the fuck do we need from you? And then slowly but surely push him out the door.
Especially if Andrew like uses that as fire and uses that all season long as that, right?
100%. Yeah.
Like to drive him because what he had last year was a pretty damn special year for him, definitely. And that playoff run, him and Jordan Poole, like I think they must be seeing what they got like in that stint last year with them, right?
Yeah.
Is both of them were balling out. Like Andrew Wiggins was the team for like a few games, if you guys remember that, like. I don't know where the hell it came from. It was awesome to see. Jordan Poole was averaging, like 25, 26 a game also during that time. So also builds to my argument about Steph not being as good as everyone puts him up to be.
Oh, here we go.
You're an idiot.
Well.
But you also say that when people throw something into the garbage, they say Curry.
Yeah. Yeah. For the
which
shot.
Is not true.
For shooting. It is. When you shoot from downtown.
No, Kobe. Every time. Kobe.
God damn it. I haven't had one person. I will get one person. I will get one person that says, "Yeah, I've said Curry when I shot."
Even the young kids that we've interviewed on the podcast are like, "Kobe, what? What are you talking about?"
They were nicer than that. Fuck you.
They were nicer than that.
Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa was cleared from concussion protocol, but he will not play this week against the Vikings, which is today in about an hour and a half.
Same thing with Teddy too, right? Didn't he clear it and they're not playing him either?
No, but he's the immediate backup to this third-string undrafted Skylar Thompson.
That's such bullshit. I had him at 8.5 for total wins on the season. They go like 4-0 out of the gate, and I'm like already spending the money. I'm like, that check is cash. All of a sudden, fucking Tua goes down, gets cerebral palsy or whatever the hell he had going on. Right. Throwing up gang signs out there, laying on the 50-yard line.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to see this more because of the focus that's on concussions again.
Yeah.
They're going to be overly safe and like, oh, they're clear. We're not playing them until next week. I don't give a fuck. You know?
Is that the reason why they're like, fuck that? We're already under the microscope anyway, so we're not even going to roll the dice. We are going to roll with our third stringer.
I love that they shit can the doctor. Like it's just like, you did a bad job. Like, you're out of here. We didn't tell him to go back in there. That was your choice.
Right.
Like, okay.
Like it wasn't the NFL's team, the NFL team to protect your player, right?
Like,
right.
I get it, them, like, protecting the players from themselves, because, like, those guys, like, just diehard competitors, they're going to want to go back in.
Yep.
But, like, I think it's getting, like, if just on video, they're like, oh, if they stumble at all when they go down and then you can't go back in the rest of the game, I feel that's going to fuck a lot of stuff up.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it could have been a little bit of the turf monster, too, kind of grab your cleat. Like,
From a gambling perspective, that's like a fucked rule.
Right. Like, hold on, fuckers. Do I get a void?
Well, to be fair with that Tua thing, so he stumbled. That added to it. But when he was down, and like you said, he had like fucking cerebral, like right there, you're like, something's up. That's a brain injury. He needs to be pulled from the game. Yeah. Then the stumbling just played into it. You're right. Like if they just stumble, that's one thing. Yeah. But you got to be able to look at the full picture and be like, just fucking sit him for the rest of the game.
They didn't even fire. Well, so they didn't fire him until after they got heat or caught heat for that, right? They didn't fire that doctor until then.
But it was the game after.
Yeah, I know it was the game after.
That was literally, they just had to have a sacrificial lamb. They just needed to say they were doing something like they cared.
Absolutely. I'm like, let me get this straight. Because the team tried to defend right out of the gate that it was a back injury. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Not once did he reach, this motherfucker reach for his back. No. Not once.
It was the back of his head.
Right. They missed it. Yeah. Back of the head.
It was the back of his brain.
I'm like, gee, a fucking brain bleed or something over there. But yeah, he like crumpled. Like, I'm like, and then not once did he go, oh shit.
I did say right away, though, I was like, it would be nuts for the Dolphins to have tried to hide that, especially the way their season was going. Like, because if they did try to hide it and then it came out like, yeah, you knew he was concussed and you sent him back in there, I can't imagine the shitstorm that would create.
Right.
Like, all hell would break loose in the league.
Yeah, so you were on the side that you believed that he wasn't and that it was back because there's no way that they would just throw him back in there, right? Yep. So he was believing that the way it should be. We should never be second guessing that, right? Because they should have been doing the right thing in the first place. So that's what the thought process should have been, right?
Yeah, but the protocols, they use those as such, like fucking, we followed the protocols, right? They put blinders on. They don't look at the fucking replay that shows him with his hand seized up and everything like that. Like, how can you just ignore that and say the protocols were fine? Like,
right.
You've got to be able to look at everything, not just that.
I'm sure most of the time they don't want to know. It's like, fucking, can you keep it together? Like, because we really don't want to know if you're concussed.
Right.
That's
agree.
a fair point. Yeah. You want to keep him in if you can. Yeah.
Which is like anybody that gets drunk, right? Like, let's say there's all three of us. We all get drunk. Are all of us going to act the exact same?
No.
Are some of us going to remember something a little more than the other person?
Yeah, 100%.
How is that any different than like a concussion? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's going to act a little different, right? It's not exactly dead set. They may snap into it right away, like, and maybe that's the moment they snap to is because they do preliminary questions. I do believe is how it starts, right? They do those in the locker room and everything like that, and you have to know that. Well, some people might be able to snap right to that and just remember.
That's true.
That doesn't mean that you don't have a concussion,
right?
To me, at least.
Yeah, I want to know what kind of like tests they actually do. It's got to be some shit like off of Varsity Blues. Like,
right. What is it? To tap the arm? Yeah. Like, how many fingers am I holding up?
Right, and somebody's behind him helping with the answers.
Right about back of the neck.
Yeah,
or just the back of the neck while they're holding it.
Yeah,
I think that was in what was that? Oh, I know you've seen that movie, Any Given Sunday.
Yeah,
when he's doing it, he's like he has his fingers on the back of his neck, and they're like the doctor's asking him, and he's like tapping the answer. Mm-hmm. Carson Wentz will see a specialist for his broken finger on his throwing hand in L.A. on Monday. Broke his finger with like 2 minutes to go in the fourth.
Serves him right. That game sucked.
Might have been the worst game of the year, right?
Yeah,
it was pretty bad,
dude.
That Denver one was bad too.
It was.
That the week before.
Denver and
Indy. So that's exactly the question. Luke brought this up at work. He at first I didn't know if he was just only teasing a Bears fan, but do you believe that was worse than the Denver game?
I think so.
Do you think that was worse than the Denver Colts game?
Yeah, that game was bad, but at least it went into overtime and sucked, so it sucked for longer. It was nice.
All right. Just keep going. God. What are you thinking? Try to take your hate for Russell out of this a little bit.
Yeah, well, so every Denver game is bad. It does not look good. Yeah. So that almost fit expectations for me, right?
Okay, yeah.
I thought Washington would do a lot better against Chicago. But then there's Justin Fields, who I can't understand. Like, sometimes he'll look really good for a minute, and then other times you're like, what the this guy should not be a quarterback in the NFL. Like,
but he's got no help, though.
There's that, too.
There's zero help out there.
Yeah.
If I ever felt for a player, and especially on the opposing team of, like, my favorite team in the division, it is definitely Justin Fields. You're not giving him the warm blanket around him to, like, try to help him grow as a player. You literally did the exact opposite. You gave him hand warmers. Make this work. Spread this out.
Yeah, in my head, it just popped in, like, who's in a worse spot, like Kenny Pickett or him. At least Pickett's got a shitload of weapons he could use if he wants to. Justin doesn't even have that shitty line, just like Pittsburgh, but no weapons.
He has good running backs. That's it.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this the other day. Who was the last, like, quarterback that came out of college that didn't sit there and get groomed for a year or two that ended up being successful? They should, like, make a rule, because anybody that, like, comes out of college, goes to the league, and they just throw them into the fire, those guys always just fade out. Like,
they do, and they can never rebound from it, right?
yeah, because it ain't fair. Like, could you imagine, like, if Green Bay would have drafted Trevor Lawrence and, like, let him sit behind Aaron Rodgers for 2 years, and then all of a sudden you put him in there?
Right.
Like, it'd be a completely different game, but instead you just blow your wad on, like, this great quarterback, and then you don't put any tools around him. It's like...
Right.
Yeah, we did talk about this a little bit. I think Miles said the exact same thing the other night, and it's the teams kind of succumbing to what the fans want to see, right? We already suck. Let's see what we got at quarterback.
Yep.
And then they come in, they're like, okay, fine.
Yeah, we
let's do
buckle.
that.
Basically, these teams are buckling to their fan bases, right? The best they got was Kenny Pickett being able to go at least a few games before he gets thrown into the wolves with no offensive line out there.
Yeah, you could act like you gave a shit.
Right.
Mitch the bitch.
Right. I
love that his first throw was a pick. That made me laugh. So
who, Kenny Pickett?
Yeah.
Yeah. I am a Kenny Pickett guy, so I'm hoping but not hoping, because I don't like the Steelers either.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
So, but because they were good for so goddamn long too, so I'm actually ready for that. But I don't want to see his career go down the Trump there. I think he's in a way. What's that?
I like Mike Tomlin.
Yeah, I'm a big
I love Mike Tomlin. So he's in a way better situation than even the Bears, right?
Yeah.
As in, they will figure out the Steelers will figure out a way to surround you. They will get an offensive line. That will happen. They're not going to go a few more years of that. So as long as he can hang on until they get figure it out and they get him there, they will do it. There's no way you have the same faith in the Bears to do that.
No.
Right? I mean, this is the same team that got rid of the dude that was taking you to the playoffs and, like, flirting in the NFC Championship when you had one of the most legendary defenses of this era, of this time
Defense
period.
and special teams.
Defense and special teams. I'll never forget Peanut the Punch Tillman. I swear to God, I used to hate playing against him because he would just, every time, didn't matter. He was a tackling machine. He was a good-ass cover corner anyway, but then he'd come in with a tackle and don't know how you do it. I'm like, he makes it look so goddamn simple. How come it doesn't happen on every play and every game?
Yep, no shit.
What?
Every time.
Right on the ball out. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Every fucking
time.
time.
Those linebackers were ridiculous. They had a team. They just needed to find some version of offense. They can't figure it out. I have way more faith in the Steelers to figure it out here eventually.
Yeah, for sure.
As long as he can hang on and keep his health and not get killed in this amount of time, which is a tall task.
I will say, we were talking about that Denver game being horrible. Before the season started, you look at that Thursday night game and you're like, Indy Denver, like with Russell there. I was like, oh, that'll be an awesome game.
Yeah.
Now it's like one of the worst games we have to watch this year.
That's true.
Absolutely.
I think everybody was high on Indy and Denver for this year, and they're both just underperforming.
Amazon is definitely begging for some of that money back, or we need to start demanding some of our money back.
They should refund my Amazon Prime, at least part of it.
At least part of, like, sending that back. Like, hey, we're
Speed
sorry.
that shit up to 1 day shipping and stuff.
Well, I was to say, then you also had the fucking, what was that, the first game or two? It was all pixelated for like 90% of the country. It wasn't for me, but like a lot of people had like pixelation issues.
And then they'll have it all fucked up. Like all of a sudden, like the screen won't be showing like what down it is or like how many yards they got to go. It just says like T and F. I'm like, what in the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah.
It's like
Amateur
some
hour.
Nickelodeon bullshit.
I did see I'm pretty sure it was a fake letter from Bezos, but basically he's like, yeah, it's come to our attention that might have been the worst game in the history of the NFL. He's like, but don't worry, everybody. Next week we've got New Orleans and Seattle, so that should be much better, right? He said something about hopefully Jameis says something funny at the end of the game so we can at least be entertained.
Yeah, evidently, a lot of people, I don't know if you guys saw this or believe this, and I didn't watch the post game of that, but evidently their post game is pretty fucking entertaining, like enjoyable. That's what a lot of people are saying. Like, hey, if we just watched the post game for the whole game for the last 2 weeks, we'd be probably way better off.
If you stayed up and watched that whole game, you deserve something entertaining. I went to bed. I was like, this sucks.
Yeah.
Right.
Awful.
You just feel like you got taken
I was
to
like,
the
I gotta
ringer.
get up in the morning. I'm not staying up for this shit.
You feel filthy about the situation. Like, I watched the NFL game, but did I really? Ugh.
I said that they should, like, instead of, like, they should be able to flex the Thursday night game if they know it's going to suck. Play it at, like, 2 in the morning, like, so Sunday morning at, like, 2 a.m. So you can get drunk, watch college football all day, and then you still have something to bet on if you don't want to go to bed yet.
Oh, there you go.
Make those guys play at 2 a.m.
There we go.
Yeah.
Russell Westbrook exits the Lakers preseason finale with a hamstring injury, Danny G.
Yeah, it's ironic because that was his first game leading the bench squad.
Oh, yeah.
They officially said, yeah, he's going to lead the guys coming off the bench, which he obviously doesn't want to do. He thinks he's above that, and now he's hurt.
Which sucks because if you watch some of the highlights, he actually did a damn good job with it. I'm not saying I don't know if it would have sustained, but he was hitting guys, he was finding guys, and it kind of looked a little bit of old Russell Westbrook with the Oklahoma City Thunder when it was just him for that, couple years right there that he was just putting up stupid numbers. I don't know why he just doesn't bite the bullet and like, hey, this is my second crew right here. I'll do it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's the only way you're getting all your money. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like,
Well, no, that and a hamstring injury.
Well, okay. Yeah, touche. You're still getting paid. All right.
He's still getting paid.
Yeah.
Now he doesn't have to run with the crew either.
Yeah.
So, didn't you say in what the game before that, or somebody was telling me that he was like ignoring everybody. Coach was talking to him.
Yeah,
trying to talk to him. He'd stand over on the side.
There was a pregame huddle that they were doing, and he wasn't involved in the pregame huddle. Pat Bev was trying to get everybody together that was out on the court to like quick huddle, and he wouldn't even come over there. He kept trying to bring him over. He's like, no, just brushing him off, and they're like, what the fuck? And then so like oddly enough, he was like at the free throw line. They were like half court. AD comes over and starts walking towards Russ, and Russ like meets him in the middle, and he's like, come over here. It's like the fucking weirdest shit. He's just not, and I guess I can't blame him because they obviously don't want him there.
And he's always been the alpha too.
Yeah, and it's obvious they don't want him there because he's been so bad.
There's so many egos on that fucking team.
Yeah.
Oh, it's unreal.
Yeah.
Like LeBron did them a huge disservice by just wanting to play with his friends.
Yeah.
Like you sold a lot of talent off to bring in those guys.
They had such a good core, man.
It's crazy.
They did. And quite honestly, and they all have succeeded for the most part that they traded away.
Yeah, you got rid of these guys who were
You turned the Pelicans into a hot ass team.
Exactly.
Yeah, Pelicans and the Bulls now. A
Yeah.
good chunk of them are on the Bulls,
Yeah.
right?
Like if you think about it, the Lakers were doing exactly what every team wants or like franchise wants to do. Like they were getting young talent in there, building it up, and then they get LeBron. He was like, "No, I want to play with my friends instead." And then so they just sold the farm. And
Yeah, I want to compete now. And then now you're not even making the playoffs.
And now they're making him eat that too because Genie's like, I'm not buying him out. Okay.
Yeah.
We can't get enough to trade him, so you're stuck with him, bro.
Right, this is what you wanted. We're gonna make it work. They should have pulled the trigger on that. What was that? The John Wall one last year, and then there was a decent ass trade. What was that? The Kings. There was like the Kings had it was Buddy Hield and somebody else,
right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
and you could have got out from underneath that contract. You could have brought in some. They're not superstar talent, but these are what you need to win championships, right? Yep. Is pieces that they know what they do for the team.
Yep.
Well, and I think he's going to end up he'll do like 1 year extensions until Bronny gets into the league, and then somebody's going to pay him just sheerly because like they're going to sell a shit ton of tickets because LeBron and his son are on the same team.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and Brownie's going to probably get drafted higher because the team is going to know that LeBron's coming over too.
Absolutely.
You know?
Well, Bronny needs to flat out like he's there because of his dad, like, and I mean that with like all due respect. Like he puts in his own work, I get that, but sometimes when you're given something and the money's there and you have all the best trainers and stuff like that, he didn't have to. He's getting there a different way than like LeBron even had to get there, right?
Right.
And so I know he doesn't want to step on his dad because of this. But that's one kid that needs to be like, no, bro, you need to let me have my NBA career when I get there. Like you're gonna, because he's gonna kind of fuck his career too a little bit.
Well, and he's already behind the 8 ball. Like just the expectations you're gonna have to live up to. It's like with Jordan's kid. Everybody's talking shit like because where did he go? Illinois.
Yeah,
for college.
Yep.
But it's like you're never going to be able to compete with what your dad did, but everybody's going to judge you based on what your dad did.
Right, absolutely. Yep. Not fair either.
Yeah, it's not
fair. We've talked about it before. So you're not a LeBron guy, but you definitely had the love for his kid in the sense that he fucking like he's going to end up getting the short end of the scope because he gets blown up unfortunately and tagged up and all kinds of shit at high school games. and he's getting fucked with like by parents in the crowd and like hecklers and shit like that for a high school basketball game.
Yeah,
and you're the one getting fucked with.
Like he does something dumb. Like I saw the one time he like airballed and it like blew up on Twitter. Like, dude, that's a 16-year-old kid. Like, shut the fuck up.
Right. Like, did we forget something here? Like humane?
Yeah, his dad's enough of a douchebag. Make fun of him.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. The Padres eliminate the Dodgers and advance to NLCS for the first time since 1998.
Hopefully, you Darvish gets to suck in another World Series.
Who was that with? The Cubs?
Well, he did it with the Cubs and then with the Rangers too.
Oh yeah.
He's got to be like the worst World Series pitcher of all time.
So get you there and then bench him.
Yeah.
And then
Get you there and bench him.
Yeah. Just
Oh,
right.
okay.
So who do we got? We got Padres and Phillies.
Is that who ended
Because
up winning
Philly
that one?
beat Atlanta, I think, last night, right?
There we go.
Which is kind of wild. Yeah, because there's videos of Bryce Harper. He's just fucking hammered.
Yeah.
Just celebrating.
That's the type of player you fucking love right there. That's the type of player I love. Like, let's stop sugarcoating shit. Like, when you win something big, you're celebrating.
Exactly.
We were celebrating during a fucking golf tournament the whole day, knowing we were going to win.
Yeah.
And hammeredness. You know, like that. But that's what you do. You know what I'm saying?
You like to see that, right? Like when Tom Brady, when they won the last Super Bowl, he's fucking drunk off tequila.
Oh,
right?
that was awesome.
That was so cool.
Them like holding him up. That picture of him getting held up is incredible.
Yeah, you are correct. Phillies and Padres, and they will start on. It says Monday, but I thought I just clicked Tuesday. No, it's Tuesday. Monday is the Yankees and Guardians. Actually, that'll be Game 5. So that'll be, and Cleveland leads that series 2-1. Does your MVP get bounced?
Man, he finally hit a home run. So what is he, 1 for like 16 in the series?
Yeah, what
or
were you guys
something?
talking about the other night? Like you guys were seeing the stats out there about Aaron Judge.
Yeah, at that point he was 0 for 8 with 7 Ks, I think, is what it was. There's your Hall of Famer, guys.
Sign him up.
Yep.
Sign him up. How's
ballot.
your shocked level of the Dodgers?
Very surprised.
I love it though.
111 wins.
I love it. I think like baseball just sucks to me, like with their whole like no salary cap deal.
Like you can buy anything.
Yeah, I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right.
I don't think it's right either. That being said, it is all it. Okay, so I like the Dodgers before they became contenders. Well before this, we talked about this. I just kind of liked them. Don't know why. Don't have a good reason, but. And it was awesome to see them win when they still were like kind of their own. You know what I mean? They still had their own guys that they brought up through there. Now they've gotten so far out of control, they literally buy up everybody's ace, everybody's like 3-hitter, and now they have like 3. I mean, when you have your own guys getting dropped down in the lineup or not even playing at all, Bellinger's all the way at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, Cody Bellinger is one hell of a hitter and a player, you know, and you're getting. But my point is my shock level is not as high as what your guys' is. Mine is, first off, this is what the Padres did too. The Padres, they don't have the same money that the Dodgers do, nowhere near it, but they went out and spent too. They went out and traded for all these guys too to do this. The Dodgers should have taken shit a little more serious. They had a problem getting runs. They couldn't get. They were getting guys on base, just could not get them across the plate. You know, throughout this series, and I don't like seeing my Dodgers get bounced. But I actually always love seeing new blood. I'm tired of seeing it's like the NFL, you know. I'm so tired of seeing. We were so tired of seeing the Patriots. It wasn't hate. I'm just tired of seeing it every single Super Bowl. I'm tired of watching that. I'm tired of watching the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I'm tired. I'm hoping the Guardians pull this off, even with their shitty ass new name. Because I'm tired of seeing the same teams go up. You know, I want to see something a little different. I want to see people have a legit opportunity of winning a championship.
I just always want to root against the Yankees anyway.
Yeah,
no, true that.
Every fucking game. Yep.
Yeah, that's like the easiest franchise to hate.
It is, and we also have a buddy too that makes it a hell of a lot easier too.
Suck at his guys.
Yeah, he just goes fucking just balls deep on everything. Like
I just love. I'll get on Facebook and it'll be like Matt Hiscock's comment on this. He's just arguing with random people all the time, just all hours of the night.
He's going to convince somebody. Like they're gonna be. You know what? You're right.
Yeah, exactly.
You're goddamn right. Why did I think of that?
He thinks he's out there changing the outcomes of people's lives in the comment section.
It's baseball playoffs is probably the best playoffs that there is because it's not. So you have your normal teams that you expect to see, right?
Yeah.
You see the Yankees, you see the Dodgers, things like that.
Excitement.
But the hot teams can actually win it all, and they do it a lot, right?
They do, yep.
And that's who would have picked Philly and fucking the Padres.
You definitely want to pick Philly because
right? Especially Philly.
Because they were having a really difficult time. Early part of the season and kind of midway through they were, and then they caught on fire.
Yep.
Then they started winning something because they were down to 3 or 4 in their division, and then they just made the climb. I mean, that's a pretty sturdy division, but they made a climb.
Yeah.
Gentlemen.
And the Braves last year, it was the very end of the season before they even made the playoffs, right? Let alone, and then they fucking rolled. So I do love that part of it. And the Yankees losing is probably up there too.
If you could change baseball, how many games would you have those guys play?
I would probably bring it down to in the ballpark of like 120. I'd probably chop off 30. Yeah, I'd probably chop off about 40 something odd games. 20, 30 to 40.
I'd be
100.
100.
Yeah.
100, nice
100.
flat number.
Yep.
Okay, I could see. And I'd be okay with that too. So it would make your regular season games that much more important.
Yeah, like I just feel like playing 162 games, like they don't matter as much. Like I get, like you still need to win, but it's like that's ridiculous. That's so much.
That's
baseball.
so many games.
Yeah,
it's double hockey, double basketball. 82 and 82 there, respectively.
Yeah.
I bet you they would even get more fans in the stands too. You know what I mean? Instead of So because when you make the games that much tighter and every game means more during the regular season, that means more people are going to come because you know what I'm saying? Like it's not so drawn out where you only have.
Yeah, I just feel like if they tighten it up, like it makes it where you want to pay attention to it more.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's 162 games. If I miss this one, what's the big deal? There's gonna be fucking another one tomorrow. Right. And then just those guys traveling, like it's nuts. Like you'll be playing in New York one night and then you're playing in Houston the next day.
Yeah.
That's what makes like Cal Ripken Jr. playing like that many consecutive games unreal.
Yeah.
Right.
So
and the
impressive.
reason why it won't happen again, right?
Yeah.
Not in that vicinity. I think the closest one was still at one point before he missed the game was still like 1,000 behind or some shit like that.
That's nuts.
Just stupid numbers.
Yeah, I am with you on the 100 thing, dude. I think you see better baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single game. People have to be on top of their shit,
Well,
right?
think about it. So you don't have to have as many pitchers for your rotation at that point because you're getting more rest days. Like I think that makes baseball better.
Yeah, I'm totally with you on that.
You get to see more talent out there.
Because it's like, and then even like ticket sales and shit. It's like you look at some of these games or like I'll be watching like SportsCenter and it comes on and they're playing at like noon on a Wednesday. And it's like, why don't they make it where it's just if you play less games, you can have more primetime shit going on.
Right.
I don't know.
And then
it would be better.
And then you can advertise your sport better.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't talk about that more. Like,
yeah, noon games during the week.
Yeah.
Like literally nobody's watching that.
Right.
Literally nobody's.
Awesome. I always wanted to be like one of the like in the movies when kids like ditch school and go to a baseball game. I would have done that.
Yeah, I would have done
For
that
sure.
catch a game. And then you get caught by the parents on the TV.
Yeah.
The Panthers are listening to Christian McCaffrey trade offers, gentlemen. Got 2 questions for you. Number 1, why? Which it's pretty easy. And what would they get out of it? What do you expect to get out of him? And where I want your estimate where he goes before it happens.
I think. Well, I was saying this like. I wasn't even thinking Christian McCaffrey, but I was saying like if Buffalo could get a legitimate running back, like they are ungodly good, like ridiculously good. I was even saying like if they could get I was like, could you imagine if Cleveland just gives up one of their 2 running backs?
Just one of their 2 up there? Yeah. Absolutely.
Like if Nick Chubb went to Buffalo.
Oh, Jesus. Or even Kareem, like you said. Even
Yeah.
Kareem is a whole different ballpark than I don't know. I know Danny's going to go a different route. We kind of talked about this a little bit, and it's not because he disagrees. It's because of
It's because of the way Buffalo runs their offense, right?
Yeah.
Like Singletary, when he's been playing, he's been fucking phenomenal. When they've gotten him the ball, he's doing great up there. So there's no, at this point, don't get me wrong, McCaffrey puts your ceiling at a totally different level.
Yes. But
they don't use it enough to really have that be a factor in Buffalo. That's my only like thing against this whole deal is, does it really make them that much better? I don't know, because they don't use it.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
Because also, what are you gonna have to like? They're saying they're entertaining trade offers. Like, what are you really asking for?
Right.
Like it might for especially as good as they're playing right now. I don't know. You don't want to give up any of like your receivers or anything.
Right.
Like, but I feel like they're gonna want like a Diggs out of it. Like they're not gonna give him away.
Right.
Yeah, the problem is running backs aren't worth nearly. They're not. You're not going to get what you got for Deshaun, or you know what I'm saying. Running backs are totally worth a shitload less than any other position. It seems like. So, what are you gonna be able to get back? Who has a piece that you want that you could get back?
I do believe that if Buffalo traded for him, I think it would. I believe that they would be ridiculous with him. I think that would put an emphasis on making sure that they're getting him involved. Like they would have the conversation. Like, this isn't Devin Singletary. This is Christian fucking McCaffrey, who doesn't drop balls either. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, it won't, like, he went, 101 and 101 in a season of catching the ball. They would find a way to make sure that he's involved with the offense, and which would take them to another level, unless they were just blatantly putting blinders on and forcing.
Let me ask you a question, though, before you keep going. So, how much, for any team, Buffalo or any other team, how much does his injury history come into play when you're making this decision?
Oh, it's got to go.
Because the way I'm understanding you is he's going to be an important part of that offense, and he's going to get the ball a lot, right?
No.
Okay.
Maybe I need to clarify that. You need to. It isn't going to be his old days of 30-plus touches. That isn't what I mean. They don't need 30 touches from him in that offense to work. For it to go to an even greater level than it already is at, somewhere between 18 to 21 touches. That's including receptions and runs. They would find a way to make sure that when he's out there and during those what I just said, 18 to 21 touches a game, that they would make sure they figure out a way to do that and do it in an effective, crazy way. That's what I was getting at. They don't need him to do. They don't need any running back that would come in if they don't believe in Devin Singletary. They don't need any running back to do that. You know what I'm saying? They just need something a little more productive. Me and you are on the same page with the Devin Singletary. I don't think he just gets enough shake for it. Yeah. Like, they just don't, for whatever reason, they gave up on Zach Moss too quick. The whole works, right? So, but I think when you bring in a name like that, that would force them to open their eyes to their offense in the sense of using that running back in the way that they should, which actually may even help out a Singletary, because even when he's hopping in there, he's going to actually get some more. Like, hey, our offense is clicking with this, you know? It's going to help the receivers, too. They're going to get even more open, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the potential is fucking. Could you imagine trying to play defense on that team? Josh Allen already uses his 4th, 5th, 6th fucking options, right? You don't know who to guard, and then you have McCaffrey coming out too.
Yeah,
fuck, be impossible.
That's too many good white people on one team, though.
What are you giving for him? Yeah, that is. What are you giving for him? If you're your favorite team and you need a running back, or you feel like you could and take you to the next level, what are you giving for him and you feel comfortable?
I just feel like they're going to have to sell their soul to get it. Like, because I haven't even read, like, what they're wanting for him, but I feel like it's going to be ungodly. Like, and I feel like, because I wanted this, like, so bad when they were saying they're listening to people, and I saw, like, Buffalo was one of the teams that were in talks. I want that for my fantasy football team more than anything. Yeah, I just feel like you're going to have to give up too much for somebody that is a question mark as far as injuries go. Like, that's got to be looming over your head, and you don't want to give everything away to have somebody get him in there and then him get hurt. And
you're already a Super Bowl favorite, right?
Exactly.
So how much are you willing to give up of that?
Yeah, maybe you just go with it. If it ain't broke, don't.
So are you guys predicting that he doesn't move at all then?
I don't think that they're going to end up, because I think they're going to want more than people are willing to pay. And I don't know anybody that's in, like, dire need for a running back right. Nobody's missing that as their one piece that's keeping them from,
and the pay in which he's getting paid too, and he has injury history. So is that what you're thinking then, that he ends up staying with the Panthers at the end of it?
No, I think the problem is I think it's going to be some dark horse team that we didn't think about that has the picks, that needs a running back, maybe because they're trying to bring more talent in. You know, because you can use him too. Be like, listen, we got to start running back. Maybe we can get a decent quarterback or some better receivers and then build around. I do think he goes somewhere, especially because the talks are so hot right now. He's not going to want to stay. But I don't know where. You're right. There is no good fit, so I don't know who that would be. But
I don't know if are they even saying anything about the Rams? I saw that like Cam Akers got to be coming out of there
As part of that trade.
yes,
Yeah,
he would be.
I could see something like that happening, but they'd have to find the cap. Well, they have infinite cap space.
Yeah, they have fucking magic.
Yeah, but no, Cam Akers would be part of that. He's not happy
Yankees.
or whatever, and he's not doing himself any justice. I'm not feeling for Cam Akers anyway. I like Cam Akers. I'm not feeling for like the poor me bullshit. When you're not putting in the work to do this, fuck that.
Right.
I'm more on the Darrell Henderson version, but maybe them. I was actually thinking the team that the Vikings are playing today, Miami.
Yeah.
I don't know what all their assets they have, but I feel like they still have like most of their own. I don't know if they would get players in return. When you're dealing with this, you're going to get picks. Unless you're going to a team that thinks they're higher than what they really are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That team that thinks that they can, if they have a dynamic playmaker like that, they could make a run at a Super Bowl when we all know it probably wouldn't happen, right? Maybe that would happen, then there'd be a player involved. But this is going to be any legitimate team that actually gets him, any legitimate, like where you thought they could, it's going to be pick heavy.
Yes, because that's what Carolina's going to want, right? They're rebuilding. Right. It's official.
Yeah, they want the pick.
Yeah,
it would be. But I was thinking maybe some Miami right there. Anyone that's really, it's got to be. I think we all agree that it's got to be somebody competing this year, though. That's going to make this.
Yeah, you had because especially he's like towards the tail end of his career probably, and then it has to be like you're planning on winning one in the next couple years,
right?
And then you're gonna have to pay for it if you're gonna do it. But I don't know. I feel like especially like if you think about the Buffalo thing, like how good they are right now, I don't think you want to like get rid of any pieces of what you got going that's working right now to roll the dice and bring him in.
Okay. What about
better off waiting and trying to draft?
They have plenty of cap space. They have some of the most in the league. I thought I'd have to double check. Now I might be inserting foot in mouth. What about what about Indy, especially with a banged up? They still believe that they can win, right? Jonathan Taylor's been banged up. He hasn't been quite running right this year either. He isn't the same as last year for sure.
Fucking Nyheim Hines comes in for one play, gets a concussion.
Right. You know, is there a team like that that's up in there? You know,
what about Arizona?
Arizona they're one of those blind teams. They're one of those blind teams that thinks that this year I'm saying.
Yeah.
That was we called the J.J. Watt thing when that was going on. I was like, nobody's saying Arizona. I was like, Arizona could afford to pay him, and then sure as shit, it was like 3 days later, all of a sudden he's wearing a Cardinals shirt. I was like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
He would be fun as hell in that offense, too.
He would be, and then it's not the same. James Conner isn't the same as last year. They're about to get DeAndre Hopkins back, too.
Yeah.
They would be blind enough. Yeah, I could see it. They could be blind enough to actually pull that trigger and it be effective and fun, too, all at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I was thinking NFC West too. I didn't even think about Cardinals. I was just like, there's a
Arizona's where people go to retire. Like just send them to the desert.
Right, send them to the desert.
Who else did that? Emmitt Smith. He went to the Cardinals.
He did too.
Yeah.
Nick Saban says Alabama's defense is too soft late in a loss to Tennessee.
It's tough to say they weren't. Like, you let one person score 5 touchdowns. Like,
right.
Bold strategy. We're just going to let that guy get open more. We'll cover the other one.
Right. It's going to break. His confidence going to break on that.
I can't remember what the stat was. It was like when they had 4 touchdowns at that point, like all of their touchdown drives were like less than 2 minutes.
Yeah, they were so
that's
fast.
Crazy. Yep. Well, it's like we were texting. It was literally a track meet.
Right, like we were finishing a conversation or texting about what just happened on the previous series, technically.
Yeah.
And by the time we're done texting, the three of us get through our conversation, there's another fucking touchdown.
Yeah.
And then we start the cycle over again, right?
That game was an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, it was. I tell you what, Bama should have run the ball more there at the end of the game. They didn't take, and they kind of mentioned that, I think, at the end. They should have taken more time off the clock. But Tennessee was just magic. That last throw and catch, that was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That shouldn't have happened. I can't believe he came down with the ball.
Well, yeah. When he did that, too, like when he made that throw, like if you guys remember, it's like he like came up into the pocket, and then he kind of, you could tell, for me at least, you could tell that it looked like he was thinking, he's like, Should I? Yeah, fuck it.
Yep.
And he fired. And he
Could
fired
have easily
over,
been picked, man.
Could have been picked, knocked down. I was shocked that it wasn't knocked down, and he caught it, and he came down, and they did exactly what they needed to. He went with it. What I love about games like this is they played to win the game. They didn't play not to lose.
Yep.
And both teams were slinging it, right?
Yeah, Bryce Young threw the ball over 50 times.
He's so good.
We did talk about that a little bit too.
Yeah.
He is a really pretty ball, and he makes it look fucking easy.
He does.
Alabama, though, every year, whether they have offensive troubles or not, like their defense, you can stand behind that.
Yeah.
Their defense is good. They're getting, no matter what, it's going to take them to the college football playoff.
Yep.
Not this year, man. I'm not on board with that this year at all.
And last year, quite honestly, their defense was about the same last year too. It's not the staple that you're used to seeing, like what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, it's got to be tough, like, because the SEC is so good. Like, I know they're always, like, the biggest, most talked about conference, but they're legit as shit. Like, Lane Kiffin has Ole Miss. They're firing on all cylinders.
Yep.
They're awesome.
You
Bama,
better
obviously.
you better bring up your guy,
Mike Leach.
Mike
Yeah.
Leach of Mississippi
Mike
State,
Leach,
balling
Mississippi
out.
State. They are so good. It's tough. Like, it's almost not. It's not fair to some of those teams because if you were in a different conference, like if Ole Miss was in the Pac-12, they're probably going undefeated.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I'm with you. I think the defense, the staple that is gone for the most part. They made a couple special plays, and they will do that. I picked Tennessee to cover. I had Alabama winning. I knew this would be a close game, and it ended up like that too. It ended up as a close win, but regardless, the reason why I did is exactly what he's touching on, what you're touching on, was the defense. Because Tennessee's defense is horrible. It's been horrible all year. Yeah. That offense is something ridiculously special. The defense was going to give you the opportunity to stay in the game every game. And I was like, okay, Alabama just needs their half-ass defense. No, evidently they needed something way beyond that. Either that or that offense is just that stupid good. But Tennessee actually surprised me on theirs. They said they know they don't have a good defense. What did that defensive coordinator call? A blitz. Almost every fucking play they were coming after him.
They
just
were
flat
getting
out.
to him,
and
too.
they were getting to him. He was getting hit.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
On
Awesome.
that sore shoulder.
I haven't looked. Did they put the new rankings? Is Tennessee in the top 4 now?
Usually Monday, isn't it?
Yeah.
But you're right. You're right. It is
Yeah.
Monday.
No, they'll be.
They should be.
They won't.
How many penalties
Tennessee will
did
be.
Alabama end up with?
18, I think.
Fuck.
Yeah. 18 or 19.
Which is
Fucking
also
insane.
not them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's not indicative of a Nick Saban-led team.
Because I think when it was 16, that was the most penalties that they've had, like, ever. I think that stat popped up. Like 16 is the most penalties they had ever had. And now they got to 18.
There's a lot of things that they need to fix in themselves. I'm with you. I think this will be the first year. They're not signed off yet, but if they're going to play like this, they will catch another loss, and then this will be the first time Bama's not in the conversation. But as of right now, you can never put them out with even one loss. For whatever reason, they'll keep them up in that vicinity. They'll get bounced out of the 4 because Clemson won. They were 5. They'll come up. Obviously, Tennessee's going to come up into the probably number 2 behind Georgia. Michigan 1, 2.
Michigan looked really good too.
Michigan looked really good.
I don't know if they do. So Tennessee was 6, right?
Yeah.
They probably go to. You think they go to 2?
They get instead. The more I started talking, Michigan throttled, and they did it against the number 1 rush defense in the nation, or
Over 400 fucking yards.
over
rushing,
400
dude.
yards rushing
Yeah.
too. There was no beat. So maybe Michigan goes to 2, Tennessee goes 3. I want to say 3 because that's even more impressive of a win than what Clemson did. So Clemson would go to 4. Yeah, that's what I think. What do you? I don't know. What are you thinking right there?
Yeah, I'm right there with you because it's got to be 3 or 4.
Yeah.
3 or 4, and you're thinking Clemson slides in too, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's the deal that got me thinking too. Last year, I don't know about all that. Georgia and Bama last year were head and shoulders above everybody. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, but there was really just 1, 2, right?
Yep.
That's not the case for me this year. I think there's a lot of teams that can hang with Bama and Georgia this year. And I don't know if Tennessee is going to be legit. They've got a tough schedule. They still have to play Georgia, still have to play Kentucky. So I don't know if they'll be able to bowl through all of that. But there's plenty of teams that I think can hang with those two, unlike years past.
I wish that it was the 8-team playoff this year for damn sure.
Yeah.
Right. I think you're right. I think Tennessee could upset Georgia in this too. I mean, they showed one hell of a perfect recipe. I don't know if Georgia has the defense that we're used to seeing, especially from last year. That's for damn sure. They've kept some. We talked about some games, ones where they should have. Who was the one?
Missouri.
Missouri.
Yeah.
And another one there was another one where it was like a smaller school that they ended up giving up like 20 points. They didn't give up no 20 points to anybody like that.
Who'd they play yesterday?
They beat somebody 29-0 yesterday.
Vanderbilt, I think.
Vandy?
Yeah, I thought it was like 55-0. Like it was.
Oh, I thought it was like you could be 1,000% right on that. I thought it was 29 for some reason.
But so I don't know enough about Tennessee's players that I would have known this before. Tennessee also did that without their true number one receiver. So their better receiver wasn't even in the fucking game.
It was 55-0. Jesus.
So
Tennessee's
he was
best
hurt.
Receiver wasn't in.
Yeah. So the guy that got those 5 touchdowns or whatever
Yeah.
wasn't even their number one.
Jesus.
So that I don't know how much of a difference that'll make when he comes back, but fuck that shit's wild to me too.
Holy shit! They were basically like the Chiefs. It's just like we're not gonna play defense,
Right.
We're gonna let you score, and then we're just gonna score again too.
So last year, what the first like 8 games, Georgia wasn't giving up even double-digit points,
Yeah.
right? You remember that? It was something stupid. They hadn't even given up a touchdown for most of the. Just to refresh you, they did give up a touchdown to South Carolina. Blah blah blah. Kent State was that one, 39-22. They gave up 22 points to Kent State. They gave up 22 points to Missouri, and Missouri was leading that. We were watching that out at your place.
They coulda won that game.
Looked like it was going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know how they even squeaked that by. And and even Auburn, who's had a shitty season this year, put up 10 points. I'm just saying, you go put what I watched on TV yesterday with Tennessee's offense out there on the field. I wonder if we have upset because I don't know if Georgia can roll the offense that even Bama can roll. You know what I'm saying?
But like that whole Kent State Missouri thing, I think that Georgia plays completely different in like depending on who they're playing.
Like playing up,
yeah,
playing down.
Like I'm sure you're not the week of the Kent State game in the film room isn't as serious as when you're playing Alabama. Like
My venture guess is a little extra in there.
I think you're 100% right, but I think that's what worries me about them this year because that wasn't the case last year.
Yeah, it's just
they played up every fucking game.
They
right?
they throttled everybody, right? And it was slam dunk. I got on late with Georgia, way late last year. And I was like, you know what? I got to stop. Right now, I'm just kind of doing hating more than anything. I'm like, I got to stop hating. They're so ridiculous on defense. You can't score on them. If you can't score on them, I don't even care if Stetson Bennett is out there. I don't care who the quarterback is at that time. When you can't score on them, you're not going to win this damn game. Right. What's the famous saying from old Kevin Sharp?
If we would have scored more points, we would have beat them.
Right.
Wise words.
Wise words to live by. You know? Well, that's what I got, gentlemen, for that. My weird law, quick for you. Comes from Tennessee. Driving is not to be done while you're asleep.
I could see why. That could be a hazard.
That could be a hazard.
Damn.
Like, how do you know you're going to be asleep until you're, you know what I'm getting at, though? Like, until you're asleep, you're okay. Well, you're probably.
Yeah, I mean, you're not sleeping when you get in the car. I mean, maybe you're
You know,
sleepwalking. I guess.
What if you're sleepwalking?
Yeah.
Maybe you're sleepwalking. You start up the car.
Yeah.
Going. Wouldn't that be impressive? You find out that you sleptwalk and you went to your vehicle, you drove, and you had no accident, no nothing. You drove straight to work or something.
Can you imagine how scary that would be? Like if all of a sudden you come to it and you're like just driving down the road and you're like, what in the hell is going on?
What is going on? I have so one of my ex stepdads. There's 2.
How was your stepmom?
Son of a bitch. What are you chuckling about over there? You son of a bitch. It's all your fault. He used to drive to Nashua, like from Mason every day, back and forth, right? He said half of that ride he'd be sleeping. And he was the only one in the vehicle. Half of it. He's like, I had muscle memory. He's like, it wasn't intentional. It was like, I'm like, hey, safe, okay, I'm gonna go. Obviously, but he's like, half that drive, I'd be dozing.
Yeah, I've been there too, where I've been driving, like when I used to work at the ethanol plant, working nights. When you go there, the sun's setting. When you're going back home, the sun's coming up, and you'd be squinting, which then naturally makes it easy to fucking close your eyes. I'd be at points where all of a sudden I'm like, I don't know how I just got here. all right, you just keep going. But I don't know if that's because I was sleeping or just zoned out,
I
Fuck.
can't sleep in a car anyway, like even when I'm not driving.
But my wife's that same way. She can't do it. I can pass out in the vehicle. I don't sleep very long usually, but I can. My wife's the same way. She can't do it. She's like, you think I'll be all right? She did this double shift in like Sac City, but wanted to drive back too, right? She's like, you think I'll be all right? I might need an energy drink or something. She's not an energy drink person either anymore. And I was like, Leah, you don't know how to sleep in a vehicle, whether you're in the passenger seat or like, there's no way. I'm not even concerned. Like, because she can't do it. She can't pass out. It doesn't matter if it's, I've tried to have her when we drove all the way down to Alabama, right, to see her sister at that point. It was definitely my stretch to go, and it was nighttime, dark as dark can fucking be. It was 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was. She could not sleep in the passenger seat. Could not do it. Nobody on the road. There's nothing to be fearful of. I'm like, these are the ones where, somebody like Jeffy Dahmer or some shit's out like roaming, or someone just trying to drive straight through. Right. Truck drivers were even done driving at this point. Like, we're in that twilight period, right? She could not sleep.
So I did want to touch on a couple of the college games. I know, Jimmer, you wanted to talk about Iowa State and that too. So let's pop over there.
Yeah. So I know my man Lucas here, I'm trying to pull this up, has the same passion for this one too. I think we messaged each other yesterday about it. And that is, now I've been hearing from one of our boys for a while that Iowa State gets boned a lot, right? Even college basketball, like bad calls, generally. Sometimes, more times than not, I usually chalk it up as like a fan being a fan, and I do that. And I do because I'll sit there and complain about like Hawkeyes getting hosed or something.
Everything's pass interference.
Yeah, everything is. But I watched that game yesterday against Texas, and they were ahead at that point. No, not at that one. They weren't ahead, but they were moving.
Yeah.
They got hosed.
For as much as they call, because they're supposed to call targeting, and then you can always like overturn it.
Right.
For them to like not even, like, it was clearly like you could have called targeting, or I just can't believe that they.
I can't believe they didn't call it for it, because it was Deckers too. It was a quarterback on top of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe they didn't call it to at least review it, and then they could take it back.
Yeah.
But I still think he still got the helmet. I mean, yes, he got part of the pad, the shoulder pad, but you came in when he was already going down. I don't know what the definition of targeting should be at that point if you're the second defender coming in and he's already going down.
But it's still a hit to the head.
And it's a hit to the head. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's exactly what they say they're not supposed to.
Right, and that would have gave them definitely the first. He got stripped of the ball. Yes, it was technically moving, but it wasn't out and his knee was down. The reason why I clarified just like that, I watched one happen in an NFL game last weekend. Cannot remember the damn player, and I'm like, that's a fumble. Because the ball is moving.
Yep.
The ball's moving. It's not out, but it is moving before you go down. That's the way I understood the rule to be, is if the ball is moving before your butt, your back, your elbow, or your knee/leg is down, it's a fumble. I saw multiple plays like that in the NFL and shit like that they weren't calling that. His leg was down, his knee was down. The ball was still in his possession, so to speak. This was the same way. I thought that was pretty fucking close to be like you needed a still to actually tell that the ball was even moving.
It is. So with that one, it is a little bit different. I know the NFL adjusted their rules around that. So like it can be moving. It's a matter of, is it like, are you out of your control?
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So that's why the NFL is a little bit different. I don't know if college football made that adjustment or if anything, but maybe that's part of it. That's the only thing I can think of there. But they did get hosed in a few different spots towards the end of that game for sure.
Yeah.
It's hard because Iowa State's not a bad team this year.
No, they're just some bad breaks. Their defense for whatever reason, their offense isn't quite as high as what we're used to seeing. And I understand we don't have the same quarterback back there, but I've watched a couple halves of football with him in it, and he throws the ball just fine, it seems like, to me at least. I did see some drops. I don't know if that's been like of the regular season. Yep. I did see some Hutchinson had one, so I don't know if that's been a regular thing for the whole season. I don't know if you've been watching him or not.
Well, because it's like that. What's his name? Gyro Brock. He's good. Like, yeah. He's a good running back, but it's just Hunter Deckers isn't Brock Purdy. Like, is basically what they're running into.
Right.
Yeah, because they had a stud tight end too that went to the NFL.
Kohler.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, they definitely are missing some pieces, which has to be part of it.
Where did Brock Purdy go to school?
He's from Arizona.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
He was Arizona Player of the Year.
Right. I should have said high school. My bad.
But
I
he's
didn't
like-
set that up.
I was
nice
like,
enough.
Iowa State.
He's lefty too, right? Iowa State's quarterback right now, so that's probably part of the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just felt like they got hosed in this game. Texas, maybe it's a little Texas hate on my part, but Bijan ran bonkers. Yeah, but
He's legit as shit. Also Arizona guy.
there you go. But that being said, Iowa State kind of got hosed out of this game. It's kind of like back to the old school Iowa State where they're in a game and they kind of get D'd down a little bit. The other one I want to touch on was Oklahoma State and TCU. This went to OT, gentlemen. 43-40. And Oklahoma State at one point was up.
So that's what I was just looking at. So they were in the third quarter, they would have been up 30-16.
30-16. So down by 2 tutties.
Yeah, they gave him 2 touchdowns. They gave him 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter.
Then goes to OT. And then a walk-off.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I like college football's overtime. I wish the NFL would do something like that but regardless, yeah, 43-40. TCU, I do believe, is the last undefeated in Big 12.
Yeah, I think it was just Oak State and them. Yeah.
I think it was just Oklahoma State and them, right? Yeah, because Baylor's fallen off. That was a barn burner too, 40-43. But regardless, I didn't want to go down that road. Oklahoma back?
No. No quick and easy answer on that.
What are you
no,
talking about?
sir.
They beat a ranked Kansas team.
Yeah. Kansas is kind of falling off the last couple weeks too, so
They have, but they put up a fuckload of points again, though. They put up 42.
Yeah, Oklahoma still doesn't have a defense.
It's weird to think about Kansas as a football school.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I don't know if you just wanted to talk just a little bit. Like Clemson eked out a victory, 34-28. Was there any other ones you wanted to touch on?
Just real quick, Michigan put the fucking boots to Penn State. Over 400-yard rushing on what did you say earlier?
I'm gonna have to double check, but they are one of the top. I will say it like that. I won't say number one, but one of the top run defenses in the nation. Yeah. And they ran for over 400 on them.
Yep.
I don't know if Michigan. I doubt they do because I think Michigan plays Iowa. So they can't be playing too many people from that side. But if they face Illinois has like one of the top, I think the top rush defense. That's the reason why I had to back up. I think Illinois has the top rush defense in the nation. And if they made that look that silly against Penn State, 'cause I watched some of that.
Yep.
Because that game was close for a little bit. Then goddamn, they deserve to be one of the top 4 teams. As of right now, even with. I didn't know their defense. I don't know. I didn't know they would be this good still because they lost a lot of defensive players. They lost a lot of players in the NFL draft. So
the problem is going to be once you come down to college football playoff time. I don't trust their quarterback to make passes. I mean, they had 17-24 for 145. So your average pass attempt was lower than your average rush, which says a lot about your rushing game. I get that, but they had fucking Edwards. 16 for 173, Corum 28 for 166. They were able to do that. And when you play against these, better defenses, bigger, stronger teams, like, whether you look at a Clemson or you look at Bama or whoever, you're going to have to throw the ball. And is Michigan going to be able to do that? That's what I'll be worried about. But goddamn, the rushing game's impressive though. I mean,
that Corum
100%.
looks ridiculous. One thing I want to touch on before we go, and I got to give a little love to Illinois again. Their fucking running back had 41 carries for 180 yards. He's leading the nation in rushing right now, FBS.
Yeah.
Which is kind of surprising.
All right, the last one before we hop to NFL, dude, I got to touch on this. So USC lost a fucking tight one to Utah. Yep. Imagine having this stat line, okay? You're the quarterback. 25 for 42 for 381 and 5 tutties.
That was Caleb?
Yeah.
Oh.
And they lost the game, bro. They fucking lost the game. Utah's quarterback, he kind of had a fucking breakout game himself. 29 for 43, almost exactly the same. 415 and a couple tutties. The difference was the rushing. Rising, must be related to you. Yeah. Had 3 touchdowns himself.
Cousin.
And then Bernard had a touchdown. It just jacks me up because it makes that win for UCLA against Utah that much better. I want to see UCLA climb. I think they could do things this year, but
Right.
let's go, buddy. NFL time, Jimmer.
Yep. So we're gonna do something a little bit different. We're gonna do basically the games that are gonna be truly competitive and not a clean sweep. Except for our favorite team.
Of course.
So Vikings, Dolphins at the Dolphins. We did already touch on that they are down to their third string quarterback. Teddy B is the backup to him, which is I'm surprised he just didn't start him then at that point. But he's the emergency backup for Skyler.
I don't understand why they aren't starting. Just because they're like, we can't let anybody get 2 concussions in a row.
Right, we can't have that happen, right? What'd you say? The Vikings line is still -3.
Yep.
On the road, what are we thinking?
It's going to be closer than we want to say, I think.
Okay.
3, I don't know if it'll be that close, but I think they cover that, but it's like 6. I don't think it's much more, but they definitely should, right? On paper.
Something's weird with this, right?
Yeah. Yep. Vikings win.
Something feels weird.
I think the Vikings win it.
But
we're probably overthinking it. Like, the Vikings should be able to handle that.
they
100%.
should be able to, but he's getting a little too much notoriety on these pregame shows, too. That's where he starts falling down.
No shit.
He does. It happens every time. Like, shut up. Keep telling him he's bad.
Yep.
You like that? Vikings for sure in this one, and they do cover. I'm actually weirdly on that, too, though. I think it's going to, unfortunately, be closer than what it fucking should be, you know? But
just like that Bears game last week.
I was right on that. We do have the Ravens at the Giants, gentlemen. Baltimore's -5.5 in this one. Giants are 4-1. Ravens in desperate need of a victory.
I went Ravens on that one.
Did you?
Yep.
Do you have them covering that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, they'll cover. I think. I don't know.
What do you got there, Danny?
I'm taking the upset. I'm going to take the Giants to win this game.
You're going to take the Giants
Over
with it?
Baltimore.
You're hopping on the Giants train.
I think the Ravens have a lot of injuries. I don't know if they can do enough. Like, Lamar will be fine. He'll have a big game, and he'll do fine. I know the Giants have injuries too, but Saquon is back. He's playing really fucking good football.
Yep.
And they're winning games this year that we don't expect. I think they stay in the hunt, man. I think they're going to pull it out, and the Ravens need to figure some shit out themselves.
Stay in the hunt in that kind of crazy NFC East, which we're not used to saying.
Yeah,
Right?
no shit.
Definitely not used to that. I'm going to go with the Ravens on this one. I think they're actually getting a little healthier in the backside of their defense. So I think that'll be a little bit more the difference because I do believe Lamar will be Lamar. We'll see. In fantasy, I do have Dobbins going, but I'm not feeling real good about that because that Giants defense is playing pretty damn good. There's a reason that besides Saquon's a huge part of this, right? There's a reason why they're in every one of these games, even when they lost. They lost that one game. There's a reason why they're in every one of these, and that defense is balling out right now.
Yep.
So don't know if I feel good about the fantasy side of that. Lamar's a different special type of being. And I do have the Ravens covering that. So it'll be by, I'm saying, at least a touch.
The other part of it is the Ravens'
I like
defense
the
is
Giants.
dog shit. The Ravens' defense is really bad.
Oh, I understand
Right.
that, but that's what I said starting it, is that they're getting healthier too. They're bringing their corners are coming back,
Okay.
slowly but surely.
I got you.
here. We'll see what happens. Besides Saquon, I don't know how much. Like, I'm the one that says give
what's
the rope.
over under on that?
45.5. Oh, sorry. Yeah, 45.5.
Yep.
I'm not touching it. I was really like opening the FanDuel app. I was like, I just need to put my
Just
phone down.
leave that one alone, right? I don't know if we want to leave. I don't know if we touch that one. How about we go with the Jets at the Packers, gentlemen? The Jets are 3-2. Packers are 3-2. Packers are also coming off of a New York loss already.
In a game that I thought that they were gonna own, and then they got beat up.
They got beat up over the pond, right?
Yeah.
So this one's intriguing. I understand the set Lambeau. Green Bay is 7.5. Yeah, -7.5. Are we feeling it, or is Vegas just like keeps thinking that Aaron Rodgers is going to snap out of this and whoop someone's ass? Is that kind of where we're going, or
Yeah. I feel like they bounce back.
you think this is it too, Jets?
Yeah. But 7.5, they might cover that. They might win it by a touchdown.
Right, there you go.
Yeah.
That half makes it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a game like this, like in the past, you'd think the Packers should beat them by 20 or something, right? But
Yep.
their offense does not look that good. It has to be a game where Aaron Jones comes back and actually has a big game. He's due, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I think the Jets are getting better, but I think the Packers win. Home field is going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Yep. This one I didn't think was going to be a clean sweep. We'll do a clean sweep on this because of the Aaron Jones thing. He called out his coach, too, in the play calling in London, especially towards the running. I think they'll make sure they make a conceded effort of making sure he gets the ball. Not like force feeding, just making sure we're going back to normal play calling in that sense. But Aaron Rodgers is ultimately going to kind of beat up this defense. I think it's going to be close down to the end, so I'm actually with you. That half point would fuck me in this part. So I would have to go Jets to cover, but I could also see this where the Packers just blow them out of the water, too. Like, the defense is so good. That's what we're also forgetting with Green Bay. And Zach Wilson will throw you out of a game as much as – I'm not even going to say throw you into the game because he hasn't even proven that yet. But he'll throw you out of a game, right?
Yep.
Normally I wouldn't bring this one up, but we're going to do it because that division is so tight, gentlemen. Jaguars, Colts. Jaguars are 2-3. Colts are 2-2-1, and we don't know about the Jags yet. At least I don't. I don't know what to put on them yet.
I just feel like I keep thinking that the Colts are going to turn it around, and then they just keep proving me wrong.
Right, because should they have even won that Thursday night game from?
No.
They had no business winning that one. They're lucky that Russell Wilson and the Broncos are just that bad on offense, right?
They were gifted, yeah.
Indianapolis, they're Vegas thinking the same thing. Indianapolis -1.5, so they're not too confident either.
I'll go first here. Give me a bounce back for the Jaguars. We've seen what they're capable of this year. Mm-hmm. We have not seen what Indy's capable of yet.
Yeah,
they have not performed in one fucking game where you can say that's what their ceiling is, right? Okay. Give me the Jags and a bounce back. Against Colts.
Which way are you feeling?
I think I'm on board with Danny there. I think the Jags get that done.
So I don't want another clean sweep. You guys are making me almost go the other way just because. I'm going to go with the Colts because this is at home. They didn't show enough by any stretch, and I'm a kind of a little closet Jags fan, especially with Trevor Lawrence. But I think the Colts defense showed a little bit of something too. Like that going up there, I understand that offense isn't good, but going on the road to Denver, regardless, is the thin air. They muscled up, and I think this is, if it's not going to happen now, it's not going to happen at all this season. So if you lose to the Jaguars at home when you can get yourself some separation right here from them, they might be throwing in the towel for the Colts at that point. So I'm gonna roll with the Colts on that one. Let's see. There's not a bunch of really good matchups this week, if you want to be honest.
Saints-Bengals, I think, is going to be a good game.
Okay.
I don't think the Bengals are that good. And they're going to New Orleans.
Yeah, what do you mean there's no good games? It's Bills-Chiefs this week.
Yeah, Bills-Chiefs.
No, I was getting to that. No, I just mean that was the
going through, yeah.
Absolutely.
Let's touch on that quick, just because
we'll go
it
on
might
the
not be
Bengals
the
Saints.
most entertaining.
You know what? No,
but I think it's going to be a good game.
I'm with you. I'm going Bengals in this. I'm actually on the opposite side of what you're believing. I think they're getting better and better every week. I think their offensive line is becoming more and more in tune.
That's another team that it's like, when are they going to get their shit together?
Yep. Yeah. I'm going to roll with the Bengals on this one. I think they cover that 3. Also, I think the Saints are on the demise. They had a crazy ass week against the Seahawks, and Taysom Hill playing like every position on the football field. I don't think that happens against the Bengals defense, which is a hell of a lot better than what the Seahawks are putting out there for defense.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. Especially if Olave
this is at the Saints
out.
too. So
yeah, their home field's ridiculous. Yep. It could make it different because Olave's a big part of that offense right now. So I know they downgraded him the other day, so it looks like he might not play. But I'll still give the edge to the Saints in this one. Yeah,
I'm going Bengals on that.
Bengals it is. Yep. So hold on, we have some. You like your Saints? We got some of this rich and rare over here. What are we feeling, huh, Danny?
I'm not that confident.
No. Fire in the soul?
Not that confident. I'm already down like 6 shots to you in this here, so I'm not trying to give one away.
So I'm going to throw one more. I'm going to throw another weird one out there for you guys, and that is the Panthers at the Rams. Now, the reason why I bring this up, we obviously know about the coach getting fired. I think it's like the last 7 instances of a coach getting fired in season.
Yes.
The very first game coming out of that with a new interim coach, the coach is like 6-1 or 5-1. Now, the one thing the Panthers have had is a decent defense. I mean, they have the players to do so, and it's a defensive coordinator taking over. It's that Wilkes taking over, correct?
Yep.
So, and we know how bad the Rams' offensive line is. Have I sold either one of you on going outside of the Rams on this?
PJ Walker, are you sold on him?
I like PJ, actually. I do. I like PJ Walker, not as a full-blown starter, but I liked watching him with it was our arena, not our arena football, but God damn it, the
AFL.
AAF? AAF. So he was the top quarterback in that league that year. So yes, he was though. So I actually like me some PJ Walker. He does enough. He's not that guy that's in a, and is it him or?
They do not win that game.
No way.
Not a chance.
No.
Okay.
No.
I get those stats, but they're also playing a team who needs a fucking win too. That just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of issues, but Carolina's not the team to take them.
No. Yeah, the stats done. So Rams cover that by the 10. That's going. You laying that 10?
That's tough.
What do you mean? You just said no way. They're winning, so it's got to be a blowout, right?
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I said. They have to get a win. A win is a win.
Yeah. A win is a win. You don't care how it's chalked up in the. I got you. Yeah, we'll run down this one too. Cardinals Seahawks 2-3 versus 2-3, and it is at the Seahawks.
It's gonna be fun.
Isn't that weird to say?
Yeah.
A Geno Smith led team
Yeah.
is going to be fun to watch and has been.
Yeah.
What are you thinking, Luke?
I'd go. I think the Cardinals get that done.
Do you think the high scoring affairs continues to go with this though?
I hope so. I hope Kyler has like 11 touchdowns.
That's right.
Oh shit. Yeah, dude. Cardinals are basically undefeated on the road over the last year. They can't win at home.
Yeah.
Which is fucking nuts. But I do think it goes over. I think this could end up like a 30-27 fucking thing.
Yep.
But Cardinals eke this out. Yeah.
Okay. This will be a clean sweep on this one because the Cardinals need it more than anything else. Seahawks, but this will be entertaining. I'm with you on the over. I think the trend is going to continue going.
What do they have for points on that?
50.5. I have the over on this. I believe it. I don't believe the offenses are going to, even in a division game. I just think it's going to be a shootout still, right?
Yeah.
And it's going to be a Kyler. It will be a Kyler. If you have a Kyler going or a Geno,
It's going to be
which is
defense
weird
optional.
to say, it's going to be defense optional for sure.
Here's the question. Could this game go over the next game we're about to talk about?
Yeah, so
Yeah, I think it could.
So the next game we got is Bills Chiefs, and the over under on this one's 54.5.
54.5.
We were talking about this off air, and I don't know which way to go in this. I wonder if they have so much of last year imprinted in their head that they're believing Buffalo's defense is better than what it was last year. So, and the Chiefs defense has been playing up way more than what I thought they were going to be at the start of the season, I'm saying. Right? I didn't expect them to stop anything. I actually would take the under on this. If I had to. If someone said, hey, you need to do one, put a gun to the head, like what you're doing, I would take the under. I think it may be that 27-23 range, somewhere in there, be 50. Still an entertaining-ass game, but I don't think we're seeing what we saw in that playoff game.
Yeah, I don't know about the over-under on that one because it could become a shootout or it could be like that one's a lot of question marks as far as that go. I went with what did I get those at? Josh Allen over 47.5 rushing yards and then Mahomes over 22.5 rushing yards. I think those will both go over.
Okay.
I
like both of that, especially running for their life. Yep. We know Josh Allen's going to run anyways. The Patrick Mahomes one, he doesn't run as much as what people think, so that's an intriguing one.
Well, I think he runs a shit ton, but he's still behind the line of scrimmage.
Right. Yeah. That's what I should say. But I actually like it because this defense is going to be on him, so he's going to have to take off and actually run at some point, you know? So 22 is not that – doesn't seem like it's that many yards there. And, well, do you guys want to – yeah.
I'm going Bills in this game. We haven't really touched on that.
We didn't touch on who's
I'm
covering.
going Bills, and I think that line is really close.
2.5?
Like, well, yeah, I think it's going to be a close game. I'm sorry. The over-under, I think, is really close.
Yeah.
The, like, 27-24 type shit, you know? Could easily go just a hair over or be right under. Like, I think that's close as hell. But give me the Bills in this one. I don't think the Chiefs are as good as they were last year.
Yeah.
They do not have that talent to break off like what they did last year with Tyreek. That's such a big difference.
Juju is not Tyreek. Like,
No, neither is MVS.
Yeah.
Unless Sky Moore finally has his breakout game, that could be this game. I mean, there's a lot of guys that could break out, but I don't see it. Bills.
There isn't a guy that can slingshot you back into this real quick, like what they did have is what you're getting at, right?
Yeah.
You're saying like Tyreek could literally bring you back, bang.
Yeah.
One play, you're back in this game.
Exactly.
Don't know if that's. I'm with you. I don't know if Bills also tend to play down a little bit too, like against their upper.
This game I think is different though because of what happened last year.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. But
You're totally right. They do.
But I also thought they were going to ball out in that and win in that. There's no way that they were going to lose that playoff game because of that. Because the year before that.
This is the first time that Mahomes has been an underdog at home.
Yeah.
In his career.
That's wild. Yeah.
That's just insane. I am going to roll. I'm going to roll with the Bills. I think it'll be highly entertaining. Anyone going to, I do believe Dubs is going to this game.
Yep.
They're going to be entertained again, but at the end, he's going to be sad. And I think I'm going to leave my my shot at that is, I want to say 27-23, 27-24, somewhere in that ballpark is what I'm feeling in this game. It'll be highly entertaining. That defense is going to play a huge part for the Bills, though, in this. The Chiefs Kingdom or whatever you want to call it, they get all loud there. I think they'll help keep the Bills in check. You know, like when you're giving up 27 points
as much as you can,
you know what I'm getting at.
Yep.
They're not putting up 35 something odd points. That's the reason why I think that over-under, I think they're remembering a lot of what happened last year.
Yeah.
You know, like where they had to go like blow for blow because a Tyreek was blowing up Travis. So I'm gonna roll with the Bills on this one. I think the line is, I think Buffalo covers that, but barely. I think it's 27-23. Cowboys Eagles, gentlemen, for Sunday Night Football. 4-1 versus 5-0. Philly is a 6.5 point favorite though, with the over under of only 42. I
wish it would have flexed the Bills game into that spot.
Yeah.
Hold on. We haven't gotten to Monday's game. Hold that thought.
No,
you might think twice about which one you want flexed.
Well, you can't flex You can't flex Monday nights. You can only flex Sunday.
Oh, is it Sunday? Okay.
Yep. I was going to say the same thing because I think this could really turn into a bum-ass game.
Yeah.
Very easily. Like 14-10 or something.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe that's because the defenses are so good.
Yep.
But I don't know if it'll be super fun to watch.
Yeah.
Where are you guys feeling with so you guys are taking the under then, right? Are you feeling the under in the 42?
I like the under in that, and then I do think that the Eagles win by a touchdown. I would
think
go
they win by a
Eagles
touchdown?
and under. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna stick with the under on that. And this is such a tough game for me in the sense that I don't like Philadelphia. You know that. I don't like the Cowboys. So in these games, I love to see them like kill each other and everyone get injured, and you end up in a tie. But I told you this already. Ties end up screwing up playoff stuff for later on down the road for everybody else. So in this one, I believe the Cowboys aren't as good as what they're actually showing they are. Their defense is good. Even when they get Dak back, I think Dak showed us a little bit of something where it's like something isn't quite right there. They're going to be a little healthier when he does come back. They do have Michael Gallup back. They have some, but the run game is not the same. Tony Pollard, so something isn't quite right. I actually am more fearful of the Eagles overall throughout the season. So I'm going to roll with the Cowboys on this. Only because it's going to add to even more suspense for Dak coming back. Cooper Rush going undefeated 5 games.
Yeah.
And one of them against the undefeated Eagles at the point when they faced them. Dude.
We're going to end up with like a Alex Smith, Colin Kaepernick situation.
Right. So I'm going to roll with the Cowboys in this. The cover is going to be a low scoring. I think it's going to be that, no more than 17. The winner of this game, I don't believe is going to go over 17 points. So, I'm going to roll with that.
Yeah, Eagles are going to win. They're just better everywhere. They've got, I don't know if they've been used as well as they could be, but they have some stud receivers. More than one. Dallas has one stud receiver. Their running game hasn't been great. I know Zeke's going to get over 1,000 yards, but whatever. The Eagles are going to win this by a touchdown.
But by a technicality and an extra game in the season.
Exactly.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Tony Pollard may rush for 1,000 because he rushes 8 times a game and he parks one. You know,
8 times a game for 85.
Yeah.
He'll be all right.
Yeah. That being said, let's roll with the Monday night game.
Chargers by a fucking million.
Okay.
That's it.
Chargers at home against the Broncos. That is 2 games in Inglewood at SoFi Stadium in the same week.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But Chargers, Chargers, Broncos. We know how Danny feels.
I bet those guys that work at the stadium that have to clean that whole fucking place twice in 1 week are pissed.
Right. Where's the
Why
bonus
are we
pay?
doing this shit?
Right. Where's the bonus pay? This is horse shit. What are you feeling here, there, Luke?
Yeah, I have zero respect for the Broncos. I had high hopes for those guys. I thought that division was gonna be
stupid,
nuts.
right?
I was like,
you thought it was be the NFC East.
yeah. I was like, this is crazy. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happened to Russell Wilson, but he is not good at football right now.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, bad.
So-
and then he won't shut the fuck up. He's always saying dumb shit over there on the sideline.
Right.
Let's ride.
Yeah,
Let's ride, Broncos country.
Yeah.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
All right. So, are you feeling? So, what are you feeling on this for the over/under? Then it is 45.5. What are you feeling?
If the Chargers can score 46 points, the over will hit.
Yeah, give me the under 2.
I'll take the under 2. I think this game is going to be, unfortunately, closer than what it should be. Let's stop thinking about the hate part of this. The Chargers coach is so fucking bad at making calls. He's lucky he got away with a Cleveland one. He did this last year, Danny. The Broncos defense has shown up. That's one thing that has shown up this year, right? The Chargers defense has not shown up. Because I thought they would be one of the top defenses. By name, they definitely should be, right? Unfortunately, I think the Broncos are going to look decent because of that. And it's a division game. But I'm taking the Chargers. But I do believe that the Broncos, I think it will be inside that 4.5.
I just feel like I keep waiting for the Broncos to be good, and it just hasn't happened. So I'm off. The
Just
train.
completely.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm saving my.
Yep.
He's like, there's never been a heater here.
Yeah.
I'm not. So there's nothing to stay on. I don't know why I'm doing it.
It's ice cold in Denver.
It's ice
Yeah.
cold.
Listen, what's going to happen is they're going to get beat up in this game. And, Russ, they already teased it. Russ has that injury, right? That
Yep,
injury,
the
that's
shoulder.
why he's playing bad.
Yep.
Yeah, so he'll sit. He's going to be out for a while after this game to, let him get healthy and whatever. And they're just not good. Just like we talked about with Indy. They haven't shown us what we thought they were going to do this year.
Yeah.
And Russ has not – it's not like, okay, the play calling wasn't great, but Russ, they should have won that game last week. Didn't he have old boy fucking wide open in the end zone? And he threw it a totally different direction? There's so many bad things. He's throwing bad balls.
Something isn't right. Yep.
Injured running back. Nothing's going good there, man.
That being said, so then you both believe it'll be a blowout. You believe the Broncos are going to lose, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So my question to you for that then is there any chance, because they're not the ones that hired him, that Nathaniel Hackett gets shit canned after this then? When what you paid and what you paid out and what your expectations were. Remember, this ownership did not bring him in. This is the Waltons that bought the team after.
Yeah, they give him the season, I think.
You think they gave him the season?
Yeah, and that's where I think the injuries are going to help him. We got a hurt running back. Look, Russ is dinged up. Give us another chance next year. And they'll. Yeah.
Melvin Gordon just likes throwing the ball to the other team.
No big deal.
Well, yeah. So you said that they're absolutely not good. Obviously. If the Broncos upset the Chargers, flip the question. Is there any way that coach is gone?
Yeah, if Sean Payton hit him up and he's like, "Hey, that's where I'm trying to go."
That's the only way, though?
See you later. I'm not a fan because I'm not a fan of him either. He makes dumbass calls.
I know you are, and I'm right there with you. Yeah. And that's the reason why. Is there, besides the Sean Payton, there's no way that they let him do it too, finish off?
Yeah,
because he fucked him last year. Same guy.
Yeah.
This is more than a year in it of showing it.
Yeah, they haven't looked bad enough yet. Like Denver has looked bad enough to where you could be like, that coach needs to go.
Yeah.
I don't think the Chargers have.
Sean Payton's going to the Chargers.
Fuck.
He's going to the Chargers. What? Right? Why wouldn't he? Because he's already flirted with it, right?
Yep.
So why wouldn't you want to go to an offense like that with Herbert?
Yep.
Go and ball like a young ass quarterback that you can ball with and can throw it anywhere, can wing it anywhere on the goddamn field. You have the defense as of right now. You have weapons everywhere. Yeah, I mean they have a bunch of receivers. no-name guys that we don't think of, but they actually do play up even when like Keenan's gone.
Yeah.
Right? They have the running backs. Well, I think they get more use out of Josh Kelly than what they have gotten out of him because that offensive mind would do that. That's what I mean more than anything. But even still, he'd end up plucking somebody, Alvin Kamara, who's unhappy down there to end up on the Chargers, and we just roll, baby.
That would be big time.
It would. But Eckler's pretty similar to Kamara, right? He's a really good pass catching back, too.
Yeah.
So you could look at it that way, too, and be like, he's really similar to what I had before. They've got a young, really good quarterback.
Yep.
Like, that's the spot, right?
Yep.
I know he likes Dallas, but that's kind of a shit show. I think I'd take Chargers over that, even with his, favorite team or whatever.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be. I don't know if he would stay. Like, he'd want to be with the Cowboys. He had to deal with Jerry Jones all the time and like trying to interfere with shit. I'm like, motherfucker, I have more recent Super Bowl ring,
I just
right?
think like Jerry Jones, if he would stay the fuck out of the way, that would be the best thing for that football team.
No, most definitely.
Yep.
Yes, sir. And those are the games for the week.
Boom. Well, we can start to wrap up. You got to make sense?
I can. Actually, I'll let.
I don't got one.
I'm gonna feed you one. I'm gonna feed you one that you just told us off air. You can leave his name out if you want. You gonna tell the story of that guy, or just we're gonna keep that nice, short, and sweet? So we do have a guy that got some tickets.
Yeah, I'll talk about it.
I was going to say the one with our buddy with the casino and his logic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there, just the logic.
Yeah. So if you go to the casino, as long as at some point you win any money, you can give it all back to him, and then you can just still leave knowing good in your heart that at one point you were a winner.
Even if you gave it all back.
Yeah, so you can
Plus
if
some.
you go in there, you put $200 in the machine, and you went up to $250, but then you leave with zero. You were still a winner at some point.
Right. So that's
Yeah.
makes sense if you don't think about it, and that was a very true came from a person that we know, and ride or die.
His name is Miles.
His name is Miles.
His name is
He's
Miles.
a regular on the podcast.
He's a regular.
We love you, Miles,
Soft R.
but soft R. God damn it.
Makes sense if you don't think about it.
I'm sure we'll talk with him about it when he comes back.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
It'll be good. But, yeah, speaking of those Adventureland tickets, make sure you check it out. Hit us up in the DMs. Really cool Halloween event that they haven't done in over 50 years. We got some.
Just found something out, and I'm going to let you roll with it. But just found out Valley Fair is not doing theirs that they do every year also. So
Oh, really?
they're like kind of like scared type of thing, and Adventureland is. So
Yeah, even better. So it's really the only place around where you can do something like that. It's obviously a huge park. There's a lot of shit to do. Tickets are $40 value. We're giving these bad boys away. We still have a handful left. We've given some away just yesterday to a gentleman on Facebook. Basically, he's super scared of clowns, and he wants to go try to kind of conquer his fear.
Yep.
And he's going to go with a couple people that basically adopted him when he was in a bad spot in life. So pretty cool story. Going to get him over to Adventureland to check that out. And if you want a chance, go ahead and slide into the DMs. We'll tell you what to do. Get some free tickets. It'll be a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and we throw up the advertisement for that, I guess you could say, the flyer on our YouTube. So make sure you check out YouTube if you want to see more about it, or go to adventurelandresorts.com and you can check out the details. A lot of cool shit going on down there. But speaking of all that, if you happen to come across us anywhere on the interwebs, be sure to like, subscribe, share the whole thing. We really appreciate it. But speaking of that, where's the podcast available, Jimmer?
Anywhere and everywhere podcasts are available, my friend. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. YouTube.
That's right, baby. That's where you get to see our beautiful faces. So don't forget
Money
it.
makers.
The money makers. That's right. And if you've got a story to tell, anything you want us to share, maybe something you want to hear different on the podcast, go ahead and slide onto the DMs. We love to tell a good story. We like to change things up too. So make sure you do that. That's the only way you're going to get what you want, I guess, on the podcast. And lastly, don't forget to check out FitBod. You get how much off on that, Jimmer, with code 3GIG? 25%, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get in shape before winter.
25, baby.
You know you want to feel a little better. You're going to gain some weight over winter. It's just going to happen, so you might as well get in shape first. But with all that said, football is about to start. We're going to get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is 3 Gig Sports.
We out.
From nothing, no hindsight discussions. I've been writing, I love it. All this doubt around me, then look, I got it right.